Hi, this is Hot Chocolate with Paul for Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024. And it's hard for me to believe that we are only 2 years away from the semi-quincentennial of the United States in the year 2026. That's 250 years since the Declaration of Independence was signed. Now, I'm going to be talking about my memories of the 4th of July through the years. And at the end of this episode, we are going to have a very special performance of the Battle Hymn of the Republic. So stick around and watch that until the end. The first thing I want to do is recognize something that happened this past weekend. Stacy's 2 nephews graduated from high school, and it was a very special occasion for them, and she felt very emotional about the whole thing.
It was awesome.
Jordan Mills Gendro. Robert Dale Gendro.
I have tears in my eyes, but they were happy cheers. Remember holding them in our arms. They were preemies.
What were you thinking when you saw them walk across the stage?
Remember when I graduated from high school.
It was a happy day for the family, and everyone is proud of Jordan and Robert. So on to my own memories of the 4th of July through the years. They have certainly varied through the years. As I said, the bicentennial was 1976, and I remember that very well. Prior to that, my family would go out and enjoy fireworks at various places. I specifically remember seeing them at Charlotte Beach, or Ontario Beach, whatever you want to call it, being out on the beach. And I remember my mother always hated the sound of the fireworks, but she endured it. 1976, I was actually in Herkimer, New York on the actual bicentennial. I was traveling and performing with the Grease Cadets Drum and Bugle Corps at the time, and we had a performance in Herkimer. The semi-quincentennial is coming up in 2026, and I haven't really heard of any kind of build-up to it. I remember in the couple of years before the bicentennial happened, there was a lot of build-up, and they even had something called the Freedom Train, which had a lot of artifacts from the history of the United States that traveled across the country, and it did make a stop near Rochester. And I remember going to see it on a school field trip. In 1976, my high school yearbook included a special picture of a fife and drum group that I held onto for all these years, and now I have it hanging up in my home. Now, if you pay attention to what I post on my YouTube channel, Paul's Poetry and Prose is something that comes out every Sunday. And this past Sunday, I did a special reading of the Declaration of Independence. So if you want to hear me read the Declaration of Independence, just go back and look at the video from this past Sunday. So as I said, I used to travel with the Grease Cadets a lot, Grease Cadets Drum and Bugle Corps. I played cymbal and bass drum in my years that I was with them. We did a lot of parades over the summer, as well as a lot of drum and bugle corps competitions. It was definitely a very influential time in my life, where I was learning how to march, learning how to play drums, and playing the percussion instruments, cymbals, and bass drum. So my July 4th celebrations have varied through the years. I certainly do remember the parades that I marched with the Grease Cadets. I can remember parades in downtown Rochester, and I can remember parades coming down Dewey Avenue and Dorsey Road in Greece, right up to the Legion Post. That's on Dorsey Road near Mount View Boulevard. It still exists, and once in a while I will go over there for some activity that is happening. So after I grew up, so to speak, I became old enough, age 18, 21, and so forth. Got married the first time. I remember we had celebrations, family celebrations here around Rochester, as well as her hometown in Saugerties, New York, depending on the year. As the years went by, I got back into marching again. I joined Time Marchers in 2005, and Excelsior Brigade Fife and Drum Corps in 2008. And between those two marching bands, we've done a variety of parades and activities through the years. I remember I still do various parades and marching various things on the 4th of July. I remember in 2016 and maybe the year before or the year after, I can't remember exactly which, Excelsior Brigade Fife and Drum Corps was invited to lead the parade in Warren, Pennsylvania. They have a gigantic parade there that lasts, I hear, between 2 and 3 hours long. And it was quite an honor for us to be invited to come and do that parade. Of course, they did cover our expenses, which was very helpful. One particular memory I have is from July 4th of 2016. I did go to Warren, Pennsylvania. I marched in the parade. We were the first group. And because I had travel plans, I actually had to leave as soon as the parade was over so that I could drive back home. And what's funny to me is that with the length of the parade being 2 or 3 hours long, after marching that parade, I was home before that parade was even ended, driving from Warren, Pennsylvania, all the way to Rochester. So that particular day, I drove to Toronto and took an evening flight out of Toronto to Rome, Italy, so I could go on a Mediterranean cruise that I enjoyed in 2016. Even though we flew out of Toronto, the flight did go over parts of the United States on its way to Europe, and I remember looking out the window and seeing fireworks all over the place down below. I was just a solo cruiser at that time. I was on the Norwegian Epic, and I truly enjoyed being on that cruise and meeting a lot of the other solo cruisers. So 2 years later, in 2018, I was on a cruise again, but this time it was on the 4th of July that we were on the ship, and I was with Stacy. It was her first cruise. It was a 2-week cruise on the North Sea, and on the 4th of July, they can't shoot fireworks off from the ship because fireworks from a ship are an international distress signal. This was on the Norwegian Jade, by the way. They had a giant screen up there, and they were showing fireworks on the screen, as well as having crew members coming around, dancing through, marching through like their own little parade in there. Now, since then, on the 4th of July, I've been with Excelsior Brigade Fife and Drum Corps as we perform at the Genesee Country Village and Museum for their annual Independence Day celebration. And that's something that I will be doing tomorrow. I'll be there from 10 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. As in the past years, Excelsior Brigade Fife and Drum Corps will be playing historic and patriotic tunes out on the Great Meadow. When you first enter the park, you see the Great Meadow in front of you with the pavilion right in the center of it. We have been up in the pavilion, but we actually prefer to be down at ground level where we can interact with people who are coming up to see us up close to perform. And the truth of the matter is we also stand on the shady side of the pavilion so that as the sun moves, we can stay in the shade and stay cool. So I guess there's a chance of rain, and if that happens, we will make accommodations as needed. Possibly being back up in the pavilion because it has a roof over it, or maybe we'll be in one of the nearby buildings. But in any case, you should be able to hear us. So we'll be there from 10 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll be taking breaks, and we will be marching in the parade through the village that they have at 1:30 p.m. So if it's something you want to see, go there and be in the village square at 1:30, and you'll see the parade that they have. Other activities that they have during their Independence Day celebration, they have food and drinks, obviously. They have a swearing-in of new American citizens, and that's pretty exciting. There's a cornet band that plays there. It is the SUNY Genesee Cornet Band under the direction of Professor James Kimball. They've been doing this for over 40 years. They also have old-time baseball and other activities. To close out this episode of Hot Chocolate with Paul, I'm going to show a video clip that was taken this past Sunday at the Ogden Presbyterian Church with soloist Amanda Aceto, organist Ellen Bristol, and myself on snare drum as we played the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Happy 4th of July.
Have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He has loosed the faithful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, Thank you.